where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe. It is week 416 here at BodyBags, and I am your regular Wednesday evening host, as it were. It's a good day. Man, it is random week. Next week's random. I think I got some Italian goodness coming towards you next week. Compliments of one David Lewin. But then the week after that is theme week already as we head towards the end of the month, and it is alternative cut. Looking forward to that. I'm pretty sure I'm looking at the TV cut of Halloween 2, the classic, and that's going to be very fun. Anyway, so it is week 416, and it is random week, and I recently just got this in the mail, The Borrower. It is a John McNaughton film from 1991, actually probably 88, and then it sat on the shelf for a couple years looking for a distributor. There's a lot of things going on in there, but 91 it'll finally see its release, and man, it is a fun film, man. Kevin Yeager Productions, his special effects team attached to this. Of course, you know, we know him from Child's Play. Actually, you go back, you know, date myself a little bit, but I am a kid of the 80s, and, you know, so, you know, you pick up your Fangoria magazine, and, you know, I mean, a name like Kevin Yeager would have been a name that you would have heard about quite a bit. And Sjostrom, the guy that was attached to Berger, and the guys that would become K&B. And there's a few names out there that we would have heard about a lot. These days, you don't hear their names much. So I was really pleased when I realized that Kevin Yeager was attached to this in terms of the special effects. And they are fun, man. They are fun. This is a John McNaughton film. Of course, just a couple years before this, he had unleashed Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, on the world, man. That movie, man, is freaking harsh. That is a fantastic movie. Right alongside, man, maybe as a nice companion piece, Angst, that German film. But, you know, he needed a mental break, I think, and so he goes from Henry to The Borrower. Tom Towles is in this thing. Radon Chong is in this thing. Don Gordon, I think his name is, plays a detective. It's got a pretty, you know, a few notables. Tom Towles, of course, of late we know him from, you know, The Devil's Rejects or House of a Thousand Corpses. But he really does get to don the alien, maybe more than most in here, with the exception of another actor. So let's get right into this, man. This is one of those movies I remember renting as a kid, man, when it was on VHS. I can't remember if this thing ever got a DVD release or not. I want to say it did not. The Scream Factory has just released this, and I'm going to just say, you know, I got it. There's no slip. I was a little disappointed in that. The extra is not quite as loaded as I thought it would be, but McNaughton's commentary track is on this, which is fantastic. Just so I don't forget, one thing he mentions in the commentary track, I listened to it last night, there's a lot of long shots where they'll get, like, when Tom Towles is the alien, and I'll get into the plot here in a second. He's walking down one of the LA streets there, right downtown LA, and you know, the camera's going, man, and they're getting him from a distance, and most of these people, man, have no clue that this is a film that's being filmed. And so Tom Towles, man, is doing his thing, man, just as an alien. He's got all the special effects stuff going on. His neck is all seared, and I mean, it just looks nasty. And, you know, these people, man, they're all caught off guard. They're just stopping and looking at him like, what kind of a freak are you? And it is hilarious, man. It is hilarious. And that probably happens more than we know as far as, you know, movies back in the 80s and late 70s or whatever. But that happened from time to time, capturing people on film when they didn't realize they were being filmed, and it is hilarious. But there's a lot of good stuff in that commentary. It's pretty cool. And I did mention Kevin Yeager is pretty freaking outstanding with the effects here. They're fun. They're maybe not as polished as you would hope with a movie like this. I have memories of this movie. You know, I don't know if, you know, seeing it in Fango, first renting it, but I just remember this movie being really pretty crazy. It's not quite as a polished film as you would hope it would be, coming right off of Henry. Of course, as Glenn, you know, we were chatting earlier, and he said it's kind of hard to follow up Henry. Anyways, no matter how good this thing is, and that is truth, right? So really, basically, what you got here, and it's an interesting story, man. Conceptually wise, you got this alien who is a serial killer on his home world. Finally gets nabbed, man, and as punishment, two things happen, man. He's going to be sent to Earth for punishment. It's kind of like a purgatory of sorts, right, for him. And he is going to be de-evolved, man, from the species that he is into a human being. But there's a problem with that, because once he's on Earth, it is very destable, you know, just the workings between his original DNA structure, I guess, of who he really is, or it is, whatever, and the human shell that he's basically been forced into. And so things get really crazy, and it's like the human body just cannot deal with it. And so every so often, I guess it's just too much for the brain to handle, man, and the head just goes, explodes. It's freaking fantastic. So there are some really nice effects in there as far as that is. So what do you got to do? You got to get another head, right? So you go find the next person who can give you their head. And, you know, and so it's an interesting movie, because it does have sort of a cliched end that opened itself up for the possibility of a sequel, which never did come. But there's some interesting things going on here. You know, when he's on Earth in sort of his purgatory, there's so much going on with just him and relating to this new human shell that he is in, his original body, his genealogy, whatever, or I guess that's the wrong way to put it, his just his anatomy. And so, and then of course the culture shock, and of course McNaughton has got to show you pretty much the dredges of society. So this is purgatory, so he's showing you pretty much the worst of the worst, right? And it's and so he kind of stumbles and rambles about just trying to figure things out, mimic things, and so you sort of lose that whole, whatever he was that got him banished from his world, you kind of lose some of that, because grabbing people's heads, man, really has nothing to do with his why he got sent to Earth to begin with. It really is a process of just trying to stay alive. And so, you know, you just got this, all this crazy crap, this stuff going on. And you know, and you throw a character like Towles in there, right, man? He has fun with it, man. It is, he might be, you know, of course he gets on the cover here, right? That is him. And he has a lot of fun with it. And I'm trying to figure, there's another guy, I want to say, Antonio Fargas, Julius. I'm hoping that's who it is. He is a homeless guy that Tom Towles sort of befriends, and he sort of takes him under his wing and sort of takes care of him at least long enough till it is that he needs a new head. And of course he takes Julius's head. I'm hoping that's the right guy I'm thinking of. And he sort of kind of steals the show of this movie. He's fantastic to watch in that role. You know, they have a lot of fun, man. There's this one scene, man, where you got, you know, the alien has made his way to this, it's almost like a suburb or something, is this house. And you got mom and dad up in their bedroom watching the Garbage Pail Kids of all things, right, with headphones on, because their kids are downstairs jamming to some F this, F that, kill my mom, kill my dad kind of music. It's freaking hilarious. And then you get this nutty transformation of a man-dog beast, which is just freaking hilarious. You know, it's a fun ride, man. It is definitely a popcorn film. It never really, I don't know if the movie really is consistent in terms of what it's trying to be from start to finish. And you know, and there's a few dead spots in there, and you sort of kind of like, okay, come on, let's get on to the next thing. But you really do wonder, I'm not a remake, I'm not a reboot, I'm not any of this, let's go back and revisit and redo things. But I'm going to say this, I'm going to say The Borrower is one of those interesting films that if you have the right person, the right idea, you know, take advantage that it leaves itself open to a sequel and maybe sequelize it, but in a way, not sort of rebooting it, but doing for the original, maybe what McNaughton wished he could have done, but couldn't. If you get kind of, sort of like how Sam Raimi did with Evil Dead 2 versus Evil Dead. Do that kind of thing. It could be freaking crazy. It could absolutely be nutty of a film. But this is definitely worth checking out. Scream Factory is a little pricey. It's about 24 something or whatever. And for what you get, it is a little pricey. But if you got the change, man, you know, you're not going to get a slip. But you are going to get a really cool commentary. And this is the guy who did Henry, right? And Tom Towles, man. It's a fun ride, man. If you can spare the change, it is definitely, I think, worth picking up. I've heard others review this film and said, no, just stay away from it. But you know what? If you are a real film connoisseur, and well, if you're watching BodyBags, you probably are, right? It's worth the change if you got it. If you don't got it, or you're saving for something a little bit more special, I'd say you can definitely wait to when you can grab it, or maybe we'll luck out and we'll see it on the Walmart shelf for, you know, 14, 15 bucks or something. I don't know. But keep your eyes open, man, because, you know, sometimes Scream Factory dumps things on Walmart that's not selling. And if this doesn't sell the way they're hoping, you may luck out and find it, man. So, anyways, here at 416, it's random. A little John McNaughton, a little something different, a little sci-fi horror, and a lot I didn't talk about, man. There are a lot of little subplot, at least one major subplot going that involves Chong and her serial rapist. It gets a little nutty. And then that is, I guess, the other thing is 1 minute this movie really wants you to get really ultra serious, and then it's all goofy as heck. It's sort of, I don't know, it's about as unstable as the alien's anatomy, I guess, if that makes sense. It is a fun, it is a trip of a ride. I would definitely check it out if you can. Or revisit. Maybe it's like me, it's been since the old VHS days since you've seen it last. But The Borrower, John McNaughton, 1991, definitely worth it. Here at 416, week 416. Another random week coming up next week, man. And just like every day, videos are dropping, man. Every stinking day. It's freaking good stuff here at BodyBags. So we continue to roll along. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.